The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have not one, but two very special guests for you today. Victoria Velazquez and Sarah Knauer from the agency in Los Angeles area, California, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, welcome to the show. They're going to talk about, they're going to basically teach us how to build a business through focusing on neighborhoods and behind the communities there. Also, if rumor holds true, you guys have a new course launching in October. Is that correct?
We do.
Oh, I got to hear about that. That's what I want to hear about the most. So skip everything else. Let's talk about that. No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So whichever would like to start first, I'd really like to hear how both of you individually got into the business, got into the industry.
Yeah, Sarah, go ahead. Okay. So I am born and raised here in LA. I got my license when I was a senior at Pepperdine University in Malibu. And I was doing open houses and working with, on my own at a brokerage for about 10 months or so while I was still finishing school. And then after I graduated, I realized I wanted this to be a full-time career. I wanted to be working with a top agent here in LA. So I looked at that Wall Street Journal list and just reached out to every single agent here in LA that was on that list, asking for a licensed assistant position. And I ended up getting to work for a broker in the Palisades. And that's how I really got started. So I was his assistant, and I, after a year or so, moved on to just doing my own deals, still being part of that team. And that's where I met Victoria.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I had a more winding path. I actually ended up studying real estate finance in college here in LA at USC, but I ended up going more the finance route, thinking that was the direction I wanted to go. And that led me through a few different sort of industries and jobs, ultimately in tech, which I really loved and was just such an amazing place to learn and grow. But I really got to the point where I was feeling like I was getting older, which is crazy because it was a long time ago. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, I was so young, but I felt very impatient in where my career was at and just really wanting to propel it forward. And so I was like, something needs to change. I want to do something different. I didn't feel like the roles I had been in maximized my strengths and like the value I could bring. And I had always been told I would do really well in sales. I loved people, which is what everyone says, but I genuinely do. And so I decided to get licensed. And residential, I had some exposure to commercial. It wasn't for me. Residential seems so much more up my alley. And so I got licensed, was by myself for a little bit with Sotheby's, also on the west side of LA. I always knew I wanted to do luxury and really focus on that high-end product, both because I love the homes and I really wanted to work with that clientele. And so I started with them, very quickly realized that it's really hard to start on your own. You don't have any education, you don't have any mentorship, any support. And that's really we'll talk about that when we talk about the course, but I was like, something's got to change fast because I don't have years to waste kind of like dilly-dallying around. And so, yeah, I quickly got connected to the same team leader that Sarah had met. Had heard about her, did not know her, but heard about her and how great she was doing and how much she enjoyed being on the team, met with him, and it was a really great fit and joined that team. And that's how we met.
Oh, that's a good story. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
And what I find fascinating with people finding their way into the industry, right, is so many times when they're both of you in the 3 minutes that we've been talking, I can tell are very personable, very likable, but we go into other industries, right? We go into other industries and we go, gosh, I really think, finance, or I really think this is for me, this or that is for me. And then you realize your born given talents, or your born given consistencies and personality really lend to bigger and better things, right? I mean, it's you start, like you said earlier, people always say, "Oh yeah, I'm a people person," but the reality is this is a people business. I mean,
Mhm.
through and through. We can understand homes all we want, but when it comes down to it, it's really about people. So now you're at the agency. You're not a team, but you both work there together. And it sounds like, because we're going to talk about your new course. So I'm assuming both of you. So we'll go ahead and get into it. I'm assuming the both of you got together and said there's got to be a way to help others,
Yeah.
right? Is that the thought process?
I think, especially from previously being on a team where there was lots of agents who were either newer in the business or they were really trying to break in and step up to another level, that we had the opportunity to kind of mentor a little bit, for lack of a better word, and just work alongside and work with. We realized there was a really big lack of a real estate course that focused on like really organically maybe building your business and how to work through deals and tough situations, and
Right.
kind of that what we're actually experiencing every day, those emotions dealing with clients, rather than just, how to make 100 phone calls or how to get 20 listings this
Right.
year, and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah, so much education around being an agent is about lead generation and sales, which of course is a very important component of the business. But I think that's actually what hurts us as an industry, because I remember coming in here, I came from vastly different industries. So it was honestly shocking how little education, training people have helping people through the largest transaction of their lives. And I am just someone who holds myself to like an incredibly high standard as a customer. So I thought if I had an agent on the other side and they didn't know these things, I would be like so disappointed, right? So I was very hard on myself in the beginning to be the type of agent I would want to have. And there isn't any way to get educated. I remember asking my manager, like, can I take a course on how to like properly analyze a residential property? And literally we could not find one. Like that blows
crazy.
my mind.
Yeah.
Like that is one of the most important skills we have. And how does that not exist? And obviously people either don't have it or aren't asking for it. And that means there's something really wrong with the industry. So, and I think that's why, unfortunately agents get a really bad reputation, because so many people are not properly given the tools they need to be successful. Yes, you have to lead generate, but you also need to know what you're doing. And so I think we have tried to create this course on what we wish we had when we were younger in the business. And, we were fortunate to have an incredible mentor who really went out of his way, but most people don't have that and will never get that. So we're trying to produce that. And I think also so many people have seen the success we've had and would approach us. I mean, on a weekly basis, we would have multiple people being like, can I take you to coffee? I want to hear what you did. And we're like, obviously, as much as we want to meet with everyone, we don't have the time. And so like, our first thing was like, we should make just like a video so we can give it to people. And then we're like, wait, there might be something bigger here. And that's kind of where it stemmed from.
And something else that we really focus on, I know we kind of touched on this when we first got on the call, was how to build your business kind of around a neighborhood and a community, and how, sitting in an open house and then maybe doing some door knocking and then going to, a restaurant later that night, how it all really builds on each other, the people that you're meeting and this community that you're creating and cultivating, and how that can really be powerful driving a business, and how it can feed off of the previous steps it's done. And it's just more focused and more energized, rather than spreading yourself out over vast neighborhoods or relying on internet leads or something like that. You can make it organic and really powerful, and really like a nice, pleasant way to live your life too, and have a good balance between your life and your work, the lines can get blurred obviously in real estate because we work a lot, but there's a really nice way to marry it together.
Sure. No, I'm excited about your program. I'm excited about, seeing it, hearing it. And one of the reasons I'm excited about it is because I agree with both of you on the lack of education post taking the real estate exam, that a lot of people get, take the test and they're licensed and they're like, what now? And,
exactly.
Right. And then someone says, oh, it's go out and beat the pavement, and get some door hangers and call some people, like you said, make 100 calls, and good luck. You know, that's kind of the way I think most people feel, and that's why we have an 80% attrition rate in the industry overall. So
Yeah.
definitely, I think agents would be welcome to hear, your perspective and point of view, and really something cohesive that they can latch onto and be successful. Everybody needs that. As a matter of fact, and I'm not picking on the real estate industry just because I know it so well, but I think every industry needs that, right? I mean, we need coaches in life. We need someone who can guide us through the tributaries and the difficulties. So looking forward to that. Is there a place people can go now, or is that upcoming in October? We have to wait for October? We're only a week away.
I know. Well, you can go to thecoursere.com and get on our waiting list. And then in mid-October, the course will launch. So
Okay.
anyone who gets on that waiting list, we'll keep you updated in the next few weeks about when that starts.
Okay, we'll do that. And then we go ahead, Victoria.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, we really, I just want to emphasize our style of doing business, obviously every market is a little bit different, but we genuinely feel very confident that you'll be able to apply this to other areas, but we really try to build an organic referral-based business, very relationship driven. Like, if I have a client, I never want to lose them, right? It's like, you want to make people for life. We talk about that a lot. And I think because we are in a luxury market, we have had to extra emphasize that, because it's a different type of customer. These are sophisticated, home buyers and sellers. They likely have multiple properties. They have a million agents at their disposal, and they have some of the top agents in the country. So you have to rise to that standard. And that's really what we're trying to share with everyone else. And we are very transparent. We're not holding things back, because we believe that if you're going to take the time and effort to do this, there's enough business for everyone.
Right. There is enough business for everyone. There's no doubt about it. There's no reason everyone shouldn't be successful. This might be a loaded question, and forgive me for throwing it out there. Because you said something during, Victoria, just a second ago. Is the course, is it geared towards agents who want to just focus on the luxury? And it's okay if it is, if they're geared just towards the luxury market, or does I don't want to say a town because I don't want to offend anybody, but wherever USA who sells $250,000 homes, is this not for them?
I think our perspective is that there's a luxury, quote unquote, luxury market in every city in America, right? So yes, you may be in somewhere in the Midwest in a city, and you're just our emphasis is to focus on the luxury within your market. So however you define that, luxury is going to be different, but I think we believe in working really intentionally. We believe in, the luxury market is good because it's higher price point deals. You're going to do, the same or similar amount of work. And we believe it's more challenging in a good way. That being said, we also really emphasize this goes back to the neighborhood. You need to build your business in a neighborhood where it feels right to you, where you match the lifestyle, where it's an organic fit. Because we really believe in integrating yourself holistically into your community and really becoming a member and peer to your clients. So, if you don't fit in this one community, don't just go there to sell because it's high price point stuff. You need to go where it works. As an example, LA is a huge city. It's very rare that an agent will cover all of LA because they're vastly different sub-markets. We are on the West Side. They're the beach communities. We both very much subscribe to that lifestyle, right? We are at the beach almost every day. We walk around. We're a little bit more laid back and casual in our energy and how we carry ourselves. We don't work in the Hollywood Hills, where agents have a totally different feel and vibe. And that's an equally amazing luxury market. It just wasn't for us. So I think we really encourage people to find something that's organic and works for you and fits who you are, because this is where you're going to spend a lot of time and build your career.
But of course, think about the price points when you're factoring in all of that.
Yeah.
Right. Totally understand. Yeah. The funny thing is, I live 150 steps from the beach. I'm not at the beach every day, but I consider myself a beach person because I live by the beach and I love it. But if I went to the beach every day at my age, my skin would look like a piece of leather.
Yeah,
I
sunscreen
hide
and-
from it.
we walk a lot on the beach, so we're
Yeah.
never, covered up. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And just there's
Gotcha.
something about seeing the water every day. It's very
Exactly. It's very
yeah.
Serenity Now, right?
Serenity now.
Yeah, 100%. And
I'm
the
glad
key
you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Frank Costanza, one of my favorite characters.
There you go. Okay, so this course is coming up, and I feel like I want to talk about this course more than anything because I think that's a big part of it. I do 4 of these a day. I talk to agents in LA, San Fernando Valley, Santa Barbara, all up and down the coast. And what you're doing, I really like. I really want to help promote this a little bit.
Thank you.
So give me the 101. And I don't want to throw you off or throw you a curveball on this, but give me the course 101. Where does it start? What's paramount? What's the first things first, if that's a fair question?
Yeah. So the first things we'll cover will be kind of what we talked about today a little bit. I think we call it the foundations, and it's building, your neighborhood and what to start doing when you first decide on a neighborhood and how to be looking for. Again, we're going to recommend finding a team if you're not already with a team, and what activities you should be doing to start getting ingrained in that neighborhood. So visiting open houses every week, finding the local coffee shops and restaurants, and walking in the neighborhoods, like all those little aspects just to get really ingrained and centered in the neighborhood. To things like setting up your CRM and making your, list of inspectors and, getting all those, everything else, setting up your schedule for the week, right? Because we get into this business typically to have freedom of schedule. And then we wake up and we're like, oh no, what do we do today?
Yeah.
But there are things you can be doing every day.
Right.
That, building good habits that if you start them now when you have time, it's going to be really beneficial down the road. So that's kind of where we start.
Yeah.
And then we take it through, hosting open houses, finding off market listings, working with buyers and sellers, even some comps like Victoria talked about, how to streamline business, so that you can, it's sustainable. And then we end with a lot of talk. We're very into like mindset and, energy and like attracting, certain clients in business and how to stay positive because we can be in a really tough up and down business, and some goal setting. So that's where we end it.
Yeah. And none of this is, I think, super revolutionary. There's other people that are talking about it. I think we have a unique perspective. We've been able to produce results. We've been able to do it in a fairly short amount of time. And I think in a luxury market, right? And do it in a way, I think one of our big emphasis too is we want you to love your life. Like if you were beating your head up against the wall, door knocking and cold calling, and you're miserable, like that is never going to work out, right? This business can be very challenging, and we're the first to admit that. And I think we're trying to help you do it in a way that is natural and includes a lot of growth financially and for your career, but also doesn't kill you, and that you have longevity and that you love the career you're building.
Yeah, that's very important. I think waking up at what I'm also getting, 2 things. Once you realize that you wake up one day and you say for others, like I want to help others, whether it's for profit. I mean, that's what you do anyway in the real estate world, right? It's for others. But when you wake up that day and say, I really want to help other people achieve success, because that's what you'll be doing, right? You're actually creating, and this is not a negative, you're creating your own competition, but that's okay because you said before, there's plenty out there for everybody. So, but when you wake up that day and say for others is what's going to make me whole, then the rest of your life is easy. I mean, not easy, life's not easy, but it's what you make it. And I think that's a great way to be. And I wish others thought that way. So I think that's fantastic. So we'll be looking for, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say really quick. We just did a beta testing course. Before we launch it, we wanted to run through with a group and get feedback and, just make some edits. We are very committed. We want to make sure we give so much value in this. And all of the agents were in our market, and we're literally sharing with them all of our secrets, everything that we've done, everything that we've learned. And it was such a positive experience that it really is there's so much to go around. There's
we found out we were working with the same client as one of the people in the course, and we just decided, let's just work together.
Tackle it together.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. I think more unity and less dog eat dog,
Yeah.
really helps. I'm much older and been through a different course in my life, but I'll say this, every time that I worked with a team or worked with someone that could, I still do it today in my 50s. If I can learn something new from folks like you or anybody else, that's only going to make me better. That's why I do the show. I take all your secrets and then I take them back,
Yeah.
forget the podcast. I'm just learning all your secrets.
Yeah. Podcasts are the best way.
Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. We'll definitely be promoting your course, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that even after the show for about 30 seconds, because I'm really interested. Let's talk about the market a little bit. We don't want to make this all about, LTVs and, the price. And my gosh, if I talk about interest rates again, my head will pop. But let's talk about interest rates. No, there's been a little bit of shift in the market, so this is always good fodder for conversation. What has happened? Has anything shifted in either of the dimension of how you operate just in the last 6 months since, things have changed and settled down a little bit?
Yeah, we were already in a shift. We did a big transition. We actually left the team that we had met at and sort of came to the agency we're at now, which is called the agency, and are a little bit more independent anyway. So we were already transitioning our business, and it both had a very intentional plan to shift a little bit of how we did business, our clients. So it has coincided with that.
Okay.
But yes, we've absolutely seen a shift in the market as well, absent of our individual changes too.
In general, we've had just less sales overall. We've seen in the last couple of months compared to last year. Interest rate wise, we are a little bit less sensitive to that here because of the price points, the cash that people have on hand, the private banking relationships. We still, for the most part, are seeing people getting fairly decent rates. It would be on the much lower end price points where we're seeing the interest rates affecting people's purchasing power more so. But we're very supply and demand driven. So when there's going to be short supply, we're going to still have pretty high demand. Where we're starting in certain like neighborhoods and submarkets, we are starting to see, supply creeping up and leveling out with demand.
And I think our buyers, although they may not be interest rate sensitive, they're very sophisticated and they're more stock market sensitive.
Sure.
And so I think it's less like, oh, I can no longer afford this property. It's more like things are shifting. I want to get a really good deal. So we've had to do a little education around like, yes, you will be able to get some better deals, but we still have such a supply problem that there's still properties going over ask with tons of multiples. So it just depends on the property, right? If it's a little bit of a tougher situation, it's been sitting on the market, like, yeah, you may be able to get a better deal, but there's been a little coaching around that.
Right. Okay. I did just speak to another realtor in the Bay Area, much further north, obviously. And that was the big concession is the multiples. I mean, it's the days of setting up the open house and having a waiting list and serving lunch to people while they wait or might be a little bit over, but they're still getting them, but they're just not, they're not so competitive and there's not 30 of them on one listing. So, but that's okay because at the end of the day, you still have to do the work, whether it's one or whether it's 30, So,
and we still represent, I would say, majority buyers. And in another, sense, this can actually be a good opportunity for those people that were looking for homes for the last 18 months and really struggle losing out in multiple offers. They'll hopefully now be able to have a better shot at getting the home they want.
Nice. Well, a couple of things. We're kind of winding down on time, but a couple of things. One, I know the course is coming out in a few weeks. So we'll definitely make that available. How would anyone get in contact with you, whether they had a listing, whether they're a buyer, or maybe they just want to, get involved with your course, or just ask you a few questions about how they can maybe even start out, or maybe they're in their first or second year and say they want to take it to the next level? How would they get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so you can find both of us on Instagram. You can Google just our names and you'll see our agency profile, and our phone number, emails are listed. And then the course is called the Course RE. So it's called the course, but then it's like the Course Real Estate is the website, thecourse.re.com. And our first course is going to be for agents who are probably already licensed.
Okay.
They may not be super experienced, but they kind of already are in the business a little bit. We are going to do different courses for someone who's like brand new, like your first 60 days in real estate, and we'll do more advanced, also like luxury stuff at some point as well. But that first course is really great for someone who's like, I just need to pick up my business, especially in this more challenging market.
That's great. I mean, I think it's great. And I look forward to seeing it as well. So the last thing I like to do, this is your show, this is your chance. I do want to talk to you after we're done for about 30 seconds to a minute real quick, but I want to go ahead and let you have the last word. Both of you, each of you have, take 30 seconds, however long you need. If there's anything we didn't cover, or maybe there's something special close to your heart. A lot of people like to talk about fundraising or other things that they do outside the community or in the community outside of work that they kind of like to promote. So I'll give each of you a chance to do that right now.
Go ahead. Okay. I am on the board of a nonprofit called the People Concern, and it is an organization that is committed to providing permanent supportive housing to those that are living currently on the street. So very near and dear to my heart. LA is experiencing an absolute crisis with homelessness, and I want to see my city get back to how it was. I, of course, sell homes, so it just really all ties along, and I love being on the board. So that's one that's passionate to me. Also, I'll just say, if anyone listening has any, things that would be helpful to hear in a course that they would like, they're dying to know, again, please reach out and tell us. You'll find, just Google our names, and that's our Instagrams or whatever. And please send us what you'd like to hear about.
Nice. Victoria.
Yeah. And I would just say, anyone who's listening to this, you're already taking a step to become a better agent. I feel so passionately about raising the standard in our industry and our business. I think we all are so fortunate to have this incredible opportunity to do what we do. It really is such an incredible job where you can grow in every single way as a person, financially, in your career. We're so fortunate. So I think I just commend anyone who takes the time to listen to this, to grow, to improve, to become a better agent. If you're having a hard time, just stick with it. Like, it will get better, and your work will pay off.
Awesome. Good sage advice. I look forward to your course coming out. I'll be the first one there to check it out and see what's going on, because I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Stay with me for a minute.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening to the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Victoria, Sarah, thank you so much for being on the show. Maybe we'll have you on again sometime, and we'll see how things progressed a little bit.
Yeah, please do.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having us.
much for having us.
All right. You guys have a great day.
You too.